come sit with me. The room is quiet tonight. There's just a lamp on, and nowhere you need to be. Let's stay here for a while. The living room rests in stillness, filled with the soft glow of a single lamp in the corner. The light falls gently across the walls, casting long, quiet shadows that stretch toward the far end of the room. A couch sits against one wall, its cushions deep and worn from years of use, the fabric soft beneath the faint light. The room holds the warmth of evening, that particular warmth that settles into a space after the day has ended and the world outside has grown dark. A window on the far wall looks out into the night. The glass reflects the interior light back into the room, creating a mirror image of the space, doubling the warmth, doubling the stillness. Beyond the glass, there is only darkness, the kind of darkness that comes when clouds cover the sky and no stars are visible. But the darkness outside only makes the room feel warmer, safer, more enclosed in its own gentle light. The lamp in the corner has a shade made of cream-colored fabric, and the light that passes through it takes on a golden quality, soft and diffused. This light touches the walls with a warmth that seems almost tangible, as if the light itself could be felt against the skin. The walls are painted in a neutral tone, something between beige and gray, and they absorb the light gently, reflecting it back in muted tones that fill the room without glare. On a small table beside the couch, a cup sits half full of tea that has long since cooled. The surface of the liquid is still and dark, reflecting a tiny circle of the lamplight above. Steam no longer rises from the cup. It has been there for some time now, forgotten in the quiet of the evening, left to cool as the minutes passed and the room grew more still. The floor is covered with a rug, its pattern faded from years of footsteps and sunlight, though now in the evening light, the colors blend together into soft variations of brown and cream and muted red. The rug extends beneath the couch and the table, anchoring the furniture in place, creating a defined space within the larger room. The edges of the rug curl slightly where they meet the hardwood floor, worn fibers that have softened with age. A fireplace stands against one wall, though no fire burns within it now. The hearth is clean, the interior dark and empty, holding only the memory of past fires. Above the fireplace, a mantel holds a few objects arranged without particular order. A small clock with a round face, its hands moving so slowly they seem not to move at all. A photograph in a simple frame, the image too distant in this light to see clearly. A small ceramic dish that might hold keys or coins, or nothing at all. The ceiling rises above the room, painted white, but appearing cream in the lamplight. It catches the upward glow from the lamp and reflects it back down, adding to the ambient warmth that fills the space. There are no shadows on the ceiling, only a uniform softness that stretches from wall to wall, unbroken by any mark or feature. The couch cushions hold an impression, a slight depression in the fabric where someone might have sat earlier in the evening, or perhaps many evenings before. The cushions are covered in a fabric that might be cotton or linen, something natural and soft, in a color that complements the rug below. Beside the main cushions, smaller pillows are arranged without precision, some leaning against the armrest, others pushed toward the back of the couch. The air in the room is still. There is no draft, no movement, no circulation. The stillness of the air adds to the sense of enclosure, of safety, of being held within a space that is separate from the world outside. The temperature is comfortable, neither warm nor cool, simply present, simply right for sitting or resting, or doing nothing at all. Against another wall, a bookshelf stands filled with books of various sizes, their spines face outward, creating a pattern of colors and heights that is pleasing in its irregularity. Some books stand upright, others lean against their neighbors, and a few lie flat on top of rows, placed there when the shelves grew too full. The titles are not visible in this light, but the presence of the books adds a sense of depth to the room, a sense of accumulated time and quiet hours spent reading. The lamplight does not reach the far corners of the room. There the shadows deepen, not into darkness, but into a softer gray, a gentle dimming that suggests space without revealing detail. These corners hold the rest of the room in their periphery, completing the space without demanding attention. They simply exist, quiet and unremarkable, part of the whole. Outside the window, the night continues. There is no sound from beyond the glass, no wind, no rain, no distant traffic. The world outside has settled into its own stillness, a stillness that mirrors the room within. The two spaces, inside and outside, exist in parallel, each quiet, each calm, each holding its own kind of peace. The lamp continues to cast its warm light across the room. The glow has not changed since the evening began. It remains constant, steady, a presence that asks nothing and offers only illumination. The bulb within the lamp burns at a low wattage, producing light that is gentle rather than bright, sufficient for the room without being harsh. The cushions on the couch hold their shape, the depression in the center remaining as it was. The fabric has a texture that might be felt beneath fingertips, a slight roughness that speaks of natural fibers, of threads woven together in a pattern too fine to see, but present nonetheless. The color of the fabric appears different in this light than it would in daylight, warmer, more golden, touched by the lamp's amber glow. The tea in the cup on the side table has grown completely cold now. The liquid sits motionless, its surface like a dark mirror, reflecting nothing but a small point of light from above. The cup itself is ceramic, glazed in a color that might be blue or gray, simple in design, without pattern or decoration. It sits on a small saucer of the same material, a few drops of tea having escaped earlier, now dried into faint rings on the ceramic surface. The rug beneath the furniture holds the warmth of the room in its fibers. Rugs have a way of holding heat, of creating a layer of insulation between the floor and the air, and this rug does so quietly, without notice. notice. The pattern, faded as it is, still suggests a time when the colors were brighter, when the rug was new and the room perhaps different. But now the fading has become part of the rug's character, part of its belonging to this space. The window continues to show only darkness beyond its glass. The reflection of the room floats in that darkness, a ghost image superimposed on the night. The lamp appears in the reflection, doubled, its light seeming to extend outward into a space that does not exist. The edges of the window frame this reflection, holding it in place, a picture within a picture. The clock on the mantel above the fireplace marks time with movements too small to perceive. The second hand, if there is one, moves in increments too subtle to catch with casual observation. Time passes in this room as it passes everywhere. But here the passage feels slower, stretched out, unhurried. The clock does not tick audibly, or if it does, the sound is too soft to notice. Absorbed by the walls and the rug and the stillness of the air, the books on the shelf stand as they have stood for weeks, or months, or years. Some have been read recently, their spines showing the creases of being opened and held. Others have not been touched in a long time, their pages undisturbed, waiting. The shelf holds them all without preference, giving each book its place, its small portion of the available space. The fireplace remains dark and cold. The empty hearth is a space waiting to be filled, though there is no urgency in the waiting. The mantel above casts a small shadow across the top of the hearth, a horizontal line of slightly deeper gray. Inside the fireplace, the back wall is stained with old soot, a residue of fires long past. Now just a darkening of the brick that adds depth to the emptiness. The hardwood floor extends beyond the edges of the rug, visible in the spaces between furniture and walls. The wood has a grain that runs in parallel lines, darker and lighter bands that speak of the tree from which the boards were cut. The finish on the floor has dulled over time, worn by footsteps into a matte surface that no longer reflects the light, but absorbs it softly. The ceiling above remains uniformly lit, the light from the lamp spreading upward and outward in all directions. There are no fixtures on the ceiling, no overhead light, just the blank expanse of painted plaster or drywall, smooth and uninterrupted. This simplicity adds to the calm of the room, the absence of visual complexity, allowing the eye to rest. The pillows on the couch have not moved. They rest where they were placed some time ago, holding their positions with the patient stillness of inanimate things. One pillow, smaller than the others, has a cover made of a different fabric, something softer perhaps, velvet, or a velvet-like material, its surface catching the light differently, showing a slight sheen where the others show only matte texture. The side table that holds the cup of cold tea is made of wood, its surface marked with the faint rings of past cups and glasses, circles within circles that tell of evenings similar to this one. The table is low, designed to be reached from the couch without effort, its height proportioned to the seating, its placement convenient, thoughtful the result of someone's decision long ago about where things should go. The warmth in the room continues to hold steady. It is the kind of warmth that comes from enclosed spaces, from walls and ceiling and floor working together to contain the heat that has accumulated over hours. The lamp contributes a small amount to this warmth, the bulb generating a gentle heat along with its light. Though this contribution is minor compared to the insulation of the room itself, the shadows in the corners have not deepened or changed. They remain as they were, soft gradations from light to less light, not darkness, but simply absence of the brighter glow that fills the center of the room. These shadows are comfortable, unthreatening, part of the room's natural variation in light and shade. The couch seems to settle more deeply into its position on the rug. This is perhaps imagination, perhaps the natural compression of cushions and springs over time. But there is a sense that the furniture has found its place, has accepted its role in the room, has become part of the stillness that pervades the space. Outside the window, nothing has changed. The darkness remains complete, the reflection of the room still floating on the glass, like a second room, extending into space that cannot exist. The night outside might be cold or mild, rainy or clear, but from within the room, there is no way to know. The window shows only the reflection, only the internal made external, doubled and reversed. The cup of tea sits unchanged on the side table. Its presence has become part of the room now, part of the arrangement of objects that make up the space. Whether it will be moved or emptied or refilled is a question for another time. For now it simply is a ceramic vessel holding cold liquid, catching a point of light on its dark surface. The photograph on the mantel remains indistinct in the low light. It might show a landscape or a group of people or a single face. The frame around it is simple, possibly wood or metal, holding the image in place against the wall behind. Photographs in rooms like this often go unnoticed for long periods, becoming part of the background, part of the scenery rather than objects of attention. The clock continues its imperceptible movement. The hour has not changed, or if it has, the change was so gradual as to escape notice. Time in this room moves differently than time outside, or perhaps it only seems to, the stillness stretching moments into longer intervals. The quiet making minutes feel like something more. The bookshelf holds its contents with the same patience it has always shown. The books do not shift or fall. They remain upright or leaning, their spines facing outward, their pages closed. Some of the books are old, their covers worn, their pages yellowed at the edges. Others are newer, their spines still stiff, their colors still bright even in the golden light. The rug continues to soften the floor beneath it, its fibers compressed by the weight of the furniture, its pattern visible but not demanding attention. Rugs in lived-in spaces develop a character that new rugs lack, a sense of having absorbed something from the life that happens around them. Foot traffic and spilled drinks and years of simply being there. The air in the room remains still. There is no sense of stuffiness, no feeling of the air being stale or heavy. It is simply motionless, held in place by the closed windows and the absence of any fan or vent or open door. This motionlessness adds to the sense of enclosure, of the room being a contained space, separate and protected. The lamp shade glows with its soft cream color, the fabric letting light through in a diffused way that removes any harshness. The shade has been in place for years, perhaps, the fabric slowly aging, taking on a warmer tone than it had when new. Inside the shade, the bulb burns steadily, its filament glowing, or its element producing light without flicker or variation. The fireplace continues to hold its emptiness. The dark opening suggests depth, a space that extends back into the wall, a cavity designed for fire, but currently holding nothing but air and shadow. The mantel above casts its small shadow, and the objects on the mantel sit in their places, undisturbed by wind or movement. The evening continues outside the room. The darkness beyond the window is part of a larger darkness that covers this part of the world, a night that extends outward in all directions, encompassing streets and buildings and trees and fields. But within the room, the evening is contained, made small and manageable, reduced to a single lamp and a single space and a single silence. The living room holds its stillness like something precious. The quiet that fills the space is not empty, but full, dense with the absence of sound, rich with the presence of calm. This kind of quiet is rare in the world, rare and valuable. A commodity that cannot be purchased, but only found in moments and places like this one. The couch cushions have accepted their compression. They no longer hold the memory of their original shape, but have adapted to the shapes imposed upon them. The weight of sitting, the pressure of leaning. This adaptation is not damage, but transformation. A becoming that makes the cushions more comfortable, more suited to the bodies that use them. The light from the lamp reaches every part of the room to some degree. Even the far corners receive some portion of the glow, enough to prevent total darkness, enough to maintain the sense of warmth that permeates the space. The light does not discriminate between surfaces, falling equally on wood and fabric and ceramic and glass, touching everything with the same golden tone. The window glass has no moisture on it, no condensation to blur the reflection. The temperature inside and outside must be similar enough, or the humidity low enough to prevent the formation of droplets. The glass remains clear, a perfect mirror for the room's interior, a perfect barrier against the night. The objects on the mantel have not moved. They cannot move on their own, of course, but there is something reassuring in their constancy, in their remaining exactly where they were placed. The clock, the photograph, the ceramic dish, they form a small arrangement that has meaning through repetition, through the daily observation of their positions, through the familiarity of seeing them there. The tea in the cup has reached the temperature of the room. It is neither warm nor cold now, just liquid at ambient temperature. tea that has become something other than tea through the simple passage of time. The transformation is complete. The beverage now just tinted water. Its warmth and its purpose both dissipated into the air. The floor beneath the rug is solid and stable. The hardwood does not creak or shift in this stillness, holding its position as it has for decades. The boards fitted together by craftsmen long ago, the wood seasoned and settled into its permanent form. This stability underlies everything in the room, supporting the furniture, supporting the people who use the furniture, supporting the quiet itself. The books on the shelf represent accumulated time. Each one was purchased or received at some point, brought into this room, placed on this shelf. Each one contains words that someone wrote, ideas that someone had, stories that someone imagined. They sit together now, their contents dormant, waiting for eyes to read them, hands to hold them, minds to engage with them. The ceiling continues to reflect the lamplight downward. This reflection is gentle, not bright, adding to the ambient illumination without creating any glare or harshness. The ceiling acts as a second light source, bouncing the lamp's output back into the room, filling in shadows, softening contrasts, creating an evenness of light that is restful to the eye. The fireplace hearth is swept clean. Someone at some point took care to remove the ash and debris from past fires, leaving the interior tidy even if unused. This cleanliness speaks of maintenance, of attention paid to the room even in its unused spaces, of a care for the environment that extends beyond the immediately visible. The pillows on the couch have developed personalities of a sort, each one slightly different from the others, each one worn in its own way, holding its own shape. The velvet one catches light differently, appearing darker or lighter depending on the angle, its surface recording touch in the way velvet does, showing the direction of hands that have moved across it. The side table surface holds more than just the teacup. There is a small stack of coasters, unused, their cork bottoms showing years of compression. There is a remote control for something, television or stereo, its buttons worn smooth in places by repeated pressing. There is a small dish, similar to the one on the mantel, perhaps a pear, holding nothing but dust motes visible in the lamplight. The room continues to be. It exists in this moment as it has existed in countless moments before, holding its furniture, holding its light, holding its quiet. The room does not demand anything. It does not require attention or action. It simply provides a space, a container for stillness, a vessel for peace. The lamp continues its patient burning. The bulb inside has many hours of life remaining, many nights of illumination before it will need to be replaced. For now it glows steadily, converting electricity into light and a small amount of heat, fulfilling its purpose without fanfare or recognition. The warmth in the room has distributed itself evenly. There are no hot spots, no cold drafts, just a uniform temperature that touches every surface and fills every space. This equilibrium is the result of hours without change. Hours of the room being closed and still. Hours of the air settling into its current state. The shadows have become familiar now. They are part of the room's character, as much as the furniture or the walls, the shadow behind the couch, the shadow in the corner by the bookshelf, the shadow beneath the side table. They all belong here. They all contribute to the whole. They all add depth to the flatness that light alone would create. The night outside the window continues its course. Hours have passed, or will pass. The darkness moving through its cycles toward eventual dawn. Though dawn is far away, not a consideration for this moment, not relevant to the current stillness. The night is simply present, a backdrop, a contrast to the warmth within. The couch fabric shows its weave in the lamplight. The threads cross over and under each other in a pattern too small to see clearly, but large enough to create a texture. A surface that is not smooth, but not rough either. Just present, just tangible, just real. This reality of texture grounds the room in the physical world, reminding that this is a real place, with real objects, existing in real time. The cup of cold tea remains undisturbed. Perhaps it will be noticed later, picked up, carried to a kitchen, emptied and washed. Perhaps it will sit through the night, still present in the morning. A marker of time passed without attention. Either outcome is equally likely, equally unimportant in the current moment. The clock on the mantel has advanced, though by how much is impossible to say without close examination. Time has passed as it always passes, regardless of observation, regardless of awareness. The clock records this passage faithfully, its hands moving in their circular path, measuring the hours in their ancient way. The rug beneath everything continues its support. It cushions footsteps that are not currently falling, softens impacts that are not currently occurring, provides comfort that is not currently being perceived. But its presence is not contingent on use. It is simply there, ready, available, part of the infrastructure of rest that the room provides. The window reflection shows the room as if from outside looking in. This impossible view, this perspective from darkness into light, creates a doubling that expands the space visually, suggesting rooms beyond rooms, depths beyond depths. But it is only reflection, only light bouncing from glass, only physics creating illusion. The books have stories inside them, thousands of words, millions of letters, ideas and images, and emotions encoded in ink on paper. They wait in their places on the shelf. These containers of narrative, these vessels of imagination. Some will be read again, reopened, their stories released once more into the mind of a reader. Others will wait indefinitely, their contents permanently stored, permanently available, permanently patient. The fireplace holds the possibility of fire. The logs could be laid, the kindling arranged, the match struck. Flames could rise, heat could pour out. The room could be transformed by the presence of controlled combustion. But this possibility remains unrealized, potential energy stored in the structure itself, waiting for the decision that does not come. The stillness in the room is now very deep. It has accumulated over the hours, like sediment settling in still water, layer upon layer of quiet building up until the room is saturated with it. Movement would disturb this stillness, would send ripples through the accumulated calm. But there is no movement. There is only the stillness itself, complete and undisturbed. The air holds no scent particularly, or if it does, the scent is so familiar as to be unnoticeable. Perhaps there is a faint smell of the tea, gone cold. Perhaps there is a trace of the laundry detergent used on the cushion covers. Perhaps there is the neutral smell of a room that is lived in, but not recently occupied. Whatever scents exist have blended into the background, into the baseline of the space. The evening has progressed without event. Nothing has happened in this room for some time now. No one has entered. No one has left. No phone has rung. No voice has spoken. The room has simply existed, holding its contents in place, maintaining its temperature, preserving its quiet. The lamp shade has developed a slight warmth from the bulb within, but not enough to be uncomfortable to touch, just enough to be perceptible if someone were to place a hand near it. This warmth radiates outward in all directions, a minor source of heat in a room that does not need additional heating. The cushions on the couch have settled further into their compressed state. Air has slowly escaped from the foam or batting within, redistributing, finding new equilibrium. This settling is imperceptible in real time, but evident over hours. The cushions becoming slightly flatter, slightly softer, slightly more conformed to their current shape. The darkness outside the window is absolute. No stars are visible, no moon, no distant lights from other houses or streets. The night is complete, a covering of black that extends from the window glass outward into infinity, or what might as well be infinity given the limits of human perception. The side table stands solidly on its legs, 4 wooden supports that distribute the weight of the table, and its contents down into the floor. The table was made by someone at some point, designed and constructed and finished, then brought to this room to serve this purpose. It has served this purpose for years now, holding cups and books and remotes and whatever else is placed upon it. The photograph on the mantel continues to show its image, whatever that image may be. Photographs capture moments, freeze them, hold them static while time moves on. The moment in this photograph is long past now, the people in it older or gone, the place in it changed or unchanged, but the image remains, printed on paper, held in a frame, placed on a mantel in a room that is quiet and warm. The bookshelf creaks, perhaps, at some point, the wood expanding or contracting slightly as the temperature in the room remains stable, as the humidity holds steady, or perhaps the bookshelf is completely silent, its wood long since adjusted to this environment, its position permanent and stable. Either way, the sound, if it exists, is too soft to notice, lost in the larger silence of the room. The rug fibers stand upright in places, bent in others, pressed flat in yet others, a topography of wear and use that maps onto the patterns of movement in the room. Where feet fall most often, the fibers are most compressed. Where they fall rarely, the fibers retain more of their original height. This variation creates a subtle texture, visible only in certain light, at certain angles. The cup of tea has begun to take on a film on its surface. Evaporation has removed some of the water, leaving behind a concentration of whatever compounds make tea look like tea. This film is thin and invisible from most angles, but might catch the light if viewed just right. A sheen on the surface that indicates the passage of time. The fireplace flue is closed, or should be, preventing drafts from entering the room through the chimney. A closed flue in a room without a fire is proper maintenance, keeping the warm air in and the cold air out. This closure adds to the sealed feeling of the room, the sense of being contained and protected from the outside world. The ceiling extends without interruption from wall to wall. There are no cracks, no water stains, no signs of damage or age. The paint is uniform, the surface smooth, the appearance consistent across the entire expanse. This unblemished ceiling adds to the calm of the room. The absence of visual problems, removing one potential source of distraction or concern. The clock continues its work. The mechanism inside, whether digital or analog, continues to mark the passage of time, continues to move its hands or change its display, continues to perform the function for which it was created. This persistence is admirable in its way. This dedication to purpose, this unwavering commitment to measurement. The room holds its contents in trust. The couch, the table, the lamp, the books, the rug. All of them belong to someone who is not currently present, someone who arranged them, chose them, brought them together in this space. The room keeps them safe, keeps them ready, maintains them in the absence of their owner. The stillness continues to deepen. What was already quiet becomes quieter still. The silence intensifying as the night progresses, as the world outside settles further into sleep, as all sources of sound gradually diminish and fade. The lamp burns on without flickering. The electrical current flowing through its circuit is steady, the voltage constant, the light output unchanged from moment to moment. This constancy is a feature of modern infrastructure, of grid power delivered reliably to outlets throughout the house, of bulbs designed to produce consistent illumination. The couch exists in its place against the wall. It has existed there for years, will exist there for years more. The wall behind it shows no fading or discoloration, or if it does, the change is too gradual to perceive. The couch and the wall have entered into a relationship of proximity that defines them both. That makes the wall a couch wall, and the couch a wall couch. The warmth in the room is now taken for granted. It is simply the temperature, simply the baseline, simply what is. Neither warm nor cool in subjective experience. Just present, just comfortable, just right. This comfort is so complete as to be invisible, noticed only if it were to change. only if a draft were to enter or a window were to open. The window glass holds its reflection steadily. The room appears in the glass with perfect fidelity. Every object present, every light source visible, every shadow represented. This mirror image lacks only 3 dimensions, presenting the room as a flat picture, a 2-dimensional representation of a 3-dimensional space. The objects on the mantel have achieved a kind of permanence. They have been in their positions so long that moving them would seem wrong, would seem disruptive, would create a sense of disorder where order currently exists. This permanence is illusory, of course. Anything can be moved at any time, but the illusion is powerful, suggesting that the objects belong exactly where they are. The tea in the cup is approaching a new equilibrium. The water continues to evaporate slowly, the level dropping by imperceptible amounts, the concentration of tea compounds gradually increasing. Given enough time, the liquid would evaporate completely, leaving only a residue of dried tea at the bottom of the cup. But that time is far away, not a concern for the current moment. The hardwood floor beneath the rug radiates no sound. Hardwood can creak and pop as it expands and contracts. But this floor does neither, either because the temperature is stable, or because the wood has reached a state of equilibrium from which it no longer moves. The floor is simply there, solid and silent, supporting everything that rests upon it. The books on the shelf cast tiny shadows, each spine creating a line of slightly darker space on the spine next to it. These shadows are insignificant, barely visible, but they add to the depth of the shelf, to the sense of books as physical objects with mass and presence. The shadows move only when the books move, which is never. In this stillness, the ceiling above holds the air below it, prevents it from rising further, contains it within the room. The ceiling is a boundary, a limit, a defining edge of the space. Without it, the room would not be a room, would be instead an open space, exposed to whatever lies above. With it, the room is complete, enclosed, defined. The fireplace opening is darker than any shadow in the room. It leads back into the chimney, into a space that receives no light, that is completely black regardless of how bright the room becomes. This darkness is contained, bounded, kept in its place by the frame of the hearth. It does not spread or grow. It simply exists in its allocated space. The pillows on the couch have warmed slightly from their exposure to the lamplight. The light carries energy, some of which is absorbed by the fabric, some of which converts to heat. This warming is minimal, unnoticeable, but present nonetheless. The pillows are infinitesimally warmer than they would be in complete darkness. The side table supports the cup of tea without strain. The weight of the cup is insignificant compared to the strength of the table. The mass of liquid trivial compared to the capacity of the structure. The table could hold many such cups, could support objects many times heavier. It is over-engineered for its current use, built to last, built to serve. The room has achieved a state of balance. Everything in it has found its position. its temperature, its relationship to everything else. This balance is stable, persistent, resistant to change. Small perturbations would be absorbed, dampened, returned to equilibrium. The room has become a system in steady state. The lamp continues to be the center of the visual field. All else radiates outward from it. All illumination derives from it. All shadows point away from it. The lamp is the sun of this small universe, the source from which all light flows, the anchor around which the room organizes itself. The couch cushions hold their shapes with quiet dignity. They do not sag excessively, do not lose their form entirely. They maintain enough structure to be recognizable as cushions, to be usable for their intended purpose. Their compression is not defeat, but adaptation, not failure, but accommodation. The window has become more mirror than window, with the darkness so complete outside. The glass reflects almost perfectly, showing the room with such clarity that the outside world might as well not exist. The glass has become a wall, a boundary, a surface that terminates the room rather than opening it to the beyond. The warmth continues to hold steady. The room has achieved thermal equilibrium with its boundaries, losing heat through the walls at the same rate that the lamp and the general heating system provide it. This balance point is comfortable, livable, conducive to rest and relaxation. The clock on the mantel marks another minute, another increment of time passed, another step on the endless journey from moment to moment. The clock does not care about the lateness of the hour. It has no concept of late or early. It simply measures, records, displays. The numbers or the hands mean nothing to the clock itself. The photograph in its frame captures light as all photographs do, absorbing some wavelengths, reflecting others, creating the impression of an image through differential reflection. The glass protecting the photograph adds another layer of reflection, another surface for the lamplight to bounce from, another variable in the complex optics of the room. The bookshelf supports its burden without complaint. The shelves may bow slightly under the weight of the books, or they may be reinforced, stiffened, engineered to remain flat regardless of load. Either way, they perform their function, holding the books at a convenient height, keeping them organized, keeping them accessible. The rug continues to define the central space of the room. Within its boundaries, the seating area exists. Beyond its boundaries, the rest of the room extends. This definition is arbitrary but meaningful, creating a sense of place within a place, a room within a room, a zone of particular comfort and use. The tea has developed a definite film now, visible as a slight interference pattern when the light strikes it at certain angles. This film is composed of organic compounds precipitated from the liquid, tannins and oils that have risen to the surface and begun to dry. The cup is becoming an artifact of time's passage. The fireplace remains cold, its interior untouched by flame for months or years. The bricks inside have cooled completely, reaching the ambient temperature of the room, holding no memory of the heat they once contained. They They wait without waiting, exist without expecting, ready for fire that may never come. The stillness has weight to it now, not actual weight, of course, but a sense of mass, of presence, of something substantial occupying the space. This weighted stillness is the accumulation of minutes without movement, hours without sound, an evening without event. The night outside continues its progress. Stars move across the sky behind the clouds, invisible but present. The earth rotates on its axis, carrying this room through space at tremendous speed, while everything inside remains perfectly still relative to everything else inside. The motion and the stillness coexist, different frames of reference, different truths. The lampshade filters the light with consistent patience. Every photon that passes through it is softened, diffused, transformed from point source to area source. This transformation makes the light livable, makes it comfortable, removes the harshness that direct illumination would create. The couch has become a fixture of the room, as much a part of it as the walls themselves. To imagine the room without the couch is to imagine a different room entirely, a space with a different character, a different purpose, a different feel. The couch belongs here. The room belongs to the couch. The warmth has penetrated everything. The cushions are warm. The rug is warm. The books are warm. Every object has absorbed heat from the air, has reached thermal equilibrium with its surroundings. This uniformity of temperature creates a uniformity of sensation, a consistency that is restful. The shadows in the corners have not moved. They cannot move without the light moving, and the light has not moved. The shadows are fixed, permanent features of the current configuration, determined by the position of the lamp, the shape of the furniture, the geometry of the space. The window continues its dual role as barrier and mirror. It keeps the cold out and the reflection in. It separates the warmth of the room from the darkness of the night. It performs these functions silently, without effort, without recognition. The objects on the mantel exist in their arrangement. The clock, the photograph, the dish. 3 objects, 3 purposes, 3 histories converging on this single surface above the unused fireplace. They form a still life, a composition, a statement of some kind about the person who placed them there. The tea in the cup has a surface that catches the light differently now. The film has thickened slightly, or the angle has changed slightly, or perception has shifted slightly. Something is different, though what exactly is hard to say. Time acts on all things, even cold tea in ceramic cups. The floor holds steady beneath its covering of rug and beyond. The foundation of the house holds steady beneath the floor. The ground holds steady beneath the foundation. This chain of support extends downward into the earth itself, an anchoring that keeps the room in place, that prevents it from floating away into the darkness outside. The books wait in their places. They have waited before, will wait again. Waiting is what books do when they are not being read. They wait patiently, without complaint, without deterioration beyond the slow decay of paper. and binding that all books undergo. They wait for eyes, for hands, for minds. The ceiling reflects what it receives. It has no light of its own, only the borrowed light of the lamp, returned downward after bouncing from its white surface. This borrowed light fills the upper reaches of the room, softens the transition from wall to ceiling, creates a continuity of illumination. The fireplace could be lit. Matches exist. Logs exist. Kindling exists somewhere in or near this house. The possibility of fire is present, latent, waiting, but the possibility remains unrealized. The fireplace remains cold. The room remains as it is, warm enough without combustion, comfortable without flame. The stillness has become almost physical. It presses against the surfaces of the room, fills the spaces between objects, saturates the air itself. This stillness is not oppressive, but comforting, not heavy, but supportive. It is the stillness of safety, of rest, of peace. The lamp will continue burning until it is turned off. The switch that controls it waits for a hand to flip it, a finger to push it. Until that moment, the lamp performs its function, provides its light, generates its warmth. The lamp has no sense of time, no concept of duration. It simply operates until it is stopped. So there is no reminder. So the warmth goes unnoticed. The clock has advanced by some amount. Whether minutes or hours is unclear without examination. The time, whatever it is late. The night has progressed. The darkness outside has deepened, if that is possible, or simply continued if it cannot deepen further. Time passes regardless of observation. The photograph on the mantel holds its moment frozen. That moment was alive once, full of movement and change and possibility. Now it is static, fixed, permanent. The people in the photograph, if there are people, were younger then. The place in the photograph, if there is a place, may have changed. Only the image remains the same. The books have not been touched. Their spines face outward unchanged. Their positions unchanged. Their contents unchanged. The stories inside them continue to exist in potential, waiting for actualization, waiting for reading, waiting for minds to transform printed words into imagined worlds. The rug has supported the weight of the room for another evening. Its fibers have done their job of cushioning and insulating and defining. The rug has earned its place in the room through service, through function, through being useful in ways both obvious and subtle. The tea in the cup is now definitively cold, definitively stale, definitively past its purpose. It is no longer tea in any meaningful sense, just colored water in a cup, a remnant of an intention that was never completed, a sign of distraction or forgetfulness, or simply the passage of time. The fireplace holds its darkness, its emptiness, its potential. The hearth is clean, the flue is closed, the mantel is arranged. Everything is ready for a fire that does not come, that may never come, that waits in possibility while actuality continues fireless. The stillness has become the dominant feature of the room, more than the furniture, more than the light, more than the warmth. The stillness defines the space. This is a still room, a quiet room, a room where nothing happens and nothing needs to happen. The night outside must be progressing toward morning, though morning is still far away. The earth continues its rotation, carrying this room through space, moving it steadily toward the sunrise that will eventually come. But for now, only darkness exists outside, only night, only the absence of sun. The room rests in its accumulated peace. Layer upon layer of quiet has settled over everything, a blanket of stillness that covers the couch and the rug and the table and the books. This peace is tangible in its completeness, present in every corner, filling every space. The lamp glows with steady patience. It has been glowing for hours, will continue glowing for hours more. The bulb inside shows no signs of failing, no flickering or dimming or change in color. The lamp is reliable, consistent, trustworthy in its illumination. The cushions hold their compressed forms. The fabric covering them shows no wrinkles or distortions beyond those created by normal use. The cushions are comfortable in their current state, shaped by use into shapes that accommodate use, evolved through sitting into optimal configurations for sitting. The window reflects the room with mirror accuracy. Every object appears in the glass, every light source, every shadow. The reflection is a perfect copy, reversed left to right, but otherwise identical. A twin room that exists only in the surface of the glass. The warmth continues to pervade the space. It has nowhere to go, no way to escape. So it remains, circulating slowly, distributing itself evenly, maintaining the comfortable temperature that makes the room livable. The clock marks another increment. Time continues its one-way journey, moving forward without pause, without reversal, without acceleration or deceleration. The clock records this journey faithfully, its mechanisms turning at the rate they were designed to turn. The objects on the mantel remain in their places. They have achieved a kind of permanence through repetition, through being seen in the same positions so many times that those positions seem inevitable, necessary, right. To move them would be to disrupt something that should not be disrupted. The cold tea sits in its cup, a small monument to forgetting. The cup will be noticed eventually, will be dealt with eventually, but for now it simply exists, part of the room's inventory, contributing its small presence to the larger whole. The floor supports everything without effort. The wood and the foundation and the earth beneath all work together to hold the room in place, to keep it stable, to prevent any sinking or shifting or movement. This support is absolute, unquestioned, fundamental. The books on their shelves represent accumulated knowledge, accumulated stories, accumulated time. Each one was written by someone, edited by someone, printed by someone, sold by someone, bought by someone, read by someone, placed on this shelf by someone. The chain of human action behind each book is long and complex. The ceiling above marks the upper limit of the room. Beyond it, other spaces exist, an attic perhaps, or another floor of the house. But those spaces do not matter to this room. This room ends at the ceiling, is defined by the ceiling, is contained by the ceiling. The fireplace waits without impatience. It has no sense of time, no expectation, no disappointment. It simply is a feature of the room, a possibility for warmth, an opening in the wall that leads to a chimney that leads to the sky. The stillness has become so deep as to be almost solid. Moving through it would require effort, would require pushing aside the accumulated quiet, would require disturbing something that does not want to be disturbed. The stillness resists change, prefers continuation, holds its state with gentle persistence. The room exists in the present moment. It has no memory of the past, no anticipation of the future. It simply is now here, in this configuration, in this temperature, in this light, in this quiet. The room exists because existence is what rooms do. The night has deepened into its fullest darkness. The hours have passed without event, without change, without anything to mark them except the imperceptible movement of clock hands and the gradual processes of cooling tea and settling cushions. The lamp remains the sole source of light in the room. Its warm glow continues to fill the space, to bounce from walls and ceiling, to create the shadows and highlights that give the room its depth. The lamp is tireless, patient, unwavering in its purpose. The couch has become inseparable from the room in perception. To think of one is to think of the other. They exist together, define each other, create meaning together. The room is a room with a couch. The couch is a couch in a room. Neither is complete without the other. The window glass has cooled slightly as the night has progressed, the outside temperature dropping as it does in the dark hours. This cooling is imperceptible from inside, does not affect the warmth of the room, does not penetrate the barrier of the walls, but it is happening just beyond the glass. The warmth inside holds steady against the cooling outside. The insulation of the house, the closure of the windows, the general heating system, all work together to maintain the comfortable temperature that has existed all evening. This maintenance requires energy, requires systems, requires infrastructure. But from within the room, it seems effortless. The clock continues its measurement. The hour is very late now, deep in the night, far from both the previous evening and the coming morning. This is the time when darkness is most complete, when activity is least likely, when stillness is most natural. The photograph on the mantel has been in darkness's reflection for hours now, catching only the lamplight, showing its image only to the empty room. The photograph does not mind. It has no preferences, no needs, no awareness. It simply exists, displaying its captured moment to whoever might look. The teacup holds its contents with the same patience it has shown all evening. The cup is a good container, does not leak, does not tip easily, does not fail in its basic function of holding liquid. The cup will continue to hold its cold tea until someone decides otherwise. The floor has not moved. has not creaked, has not made any sound all evening. The house is solid, well built, settled into its foundations without complaint. The floor is part of this solidity, this reliability, this permanence that makes the room feel safe. The books on the shelf have spines that are beginning to fade. Some of them, the older ones, the ones that have been there longest, the colors that were bright when the books were new, have softened, muted, blended toward a uniform paleness. This fading is slow, imperceptible in any single evening, but real over years. The rug has held its pattern through countless evenings like this one. The design that was woven into it persists, faded but present, worn but recognizable. The rug has character earned through use, beauty enhanced by age, value created by persistence. The fireplace continues to offer its dark opening to the room. The possibility of fire remains, always remains, will remain as long as the fireplace exists. This possibility is a kind of potential energy, stored in the structure, waiting for release, waiting for ignition, waiting indefinitely. The stillness has become the default state of the room. Movement would be the exception now. Sound would be the interruption. Change would be the departure from norm. The room has achieved a stillness so complete that it seems permanent, inevitable, natural. The night will eventually end. Morning will eventually come. Light will enter through the window, change the character of the room, dispel the darkness outside, introduce new possibilities. But that time is not yet. That time is still far away. For now there is only night, only lamplight, only stillness. The room holds its peace with quiet determination. Nothing has disturbed it. Nothing will disturb it. The evening has become night. The night has become deep night. And still the room remains unchanged, constant, stable. The lamp burns on. Its light has not wavered, not dimmed, not changed in any perceptible way. The bulb continues to convert electricity to light, continues to fill the room with its warm glow, continues to create the visual environment that defines the space. The couch cushions are perfectly still. No one has sat on them. No one has moved them. No one has touched them. They exist in the state they achieved hours ago, compressed to a certain point, shaped to a certain form, waiting without waiting for whatever comes next. The window shows only the reflection now, shows only the room mirrored in glass. The outside world has been reduced to concept, to inference, to the darkness that must exist beyond the glass, because something must be there, but the room cannot see it. The room sees only itself. The warmth persists. It has persisted all evening, will persist all night. The systems that maintain it operate somewhere out of sight, in basements or utility rooms, converting fuel to heat, distributing warmth through ducts or pipes or radiators. The room receives this warmth without knowing its source. The clock has marked more time. The hands have moved, or the display has changed, or whatever mechanism the clock uses to show time's passage has advanced. The hour is very late now, or very early, depending on perspective. The night has reached its depths. The mantle holds its objects with gravitational patience. The clock, the photograph, the dish. They rest on the wooden surface, pulled down by gravity, held up by the strength of the wood. This balance of forces keeps them in place, keeps them stable, keeps them where they were put. The tea in the cup has changed as much as it is going to change for now. The evaporation continues at its slow pace, but the transformations of cooling and staling are complete. The tea has reached its final state for this evening, its end point, its conclusion. The floor beneath everything remains solid. It has remained solid through countless hours, countless days, countless years. The floor does not tire, does not weaken, does not fail. It simply continues to be floor, to support, to provide the foundation on which all else rests. The books contain their words in patient storage. The letters printed on their pages remain legible, remain meaningful, remain ready to be read. The books are repositories, archives, libraries in miniature. They hold knowledge against the possibility of forgetting. The ceiling closes off the space above. Beyond it, other realms exist, but they are not part of this room, not part of this experience, not relevant to this moment. The ceiling is the sky of this interior world, the upper boundary, the limit of the space. The fireplace yawns its dark mouth at the room. The opening is neither inviting nor forbidding, simply present, simply there. The fireplace makes no claims, offers no promises, just exists as a possibility, a feature, a potential. The stillness has reached a kind of perfection. It cannot become more still. The room has achieved maximum quiet, complete peace, total rest. This state could continue indefinitely, could persist without change, could become eternal if nothing disturbed it. The night continues its vigil outside the windows. The darkness is patient, complete, enveloping. It wraps around the house, surrounds the room, exists in all directions beyond the glass. The night asks nothing, demands nothing, simply is. The room continues. The night continues. The stillness continues. All things in this space persist in their states, unchanging, untroubled, at peace. The lamp is a constant now, has been a constant all evening, will be a constant until someone changes its state. The light it produces fills every corner, touches every surface, defines every shadow. The lamp has become essential to the room. The couch waits with the patience of all furniture, the patience of things made to be used, made to serve, made to exist between uses in states of readiness. The couch is ready, has been ready, will be ready. This readiness is its nature. The window glass reflects with perfect fidelity. The room appears in it completely. Every detail present, every object represented. The glass makes no judgments, creates no distortions, simply returns the light that falls upon it in the pattern it received. The warmth of the room is a comfort that goes unnoticed until imagined absent. The warmth is there, surrounding everything, touching everything, making the space livable. Without it, the room would be different, would be cold, would be hostile. But the warmth is there, so the room is comfortable. The clock marks time that no one is watching. The passage it records is real but unobserved, happening but unwitnessed. The clock does not mind. It has no preferences about observation. It simply measures, displays, continues. The photograph continues its silent representation. The moment it shows is fixed, unchanging, eternal within the frame. Time outside the photograph has moved on. Time inside the photograph stays still. The two times exist side by side, parallel but not touching. The cold tea in its cup is a small detail in the larger composition. The room contains many objects, and the teacup is one of them, neither more nor less important than any other. All objects in the room exist equally, occupy space equally, participate in the stillness equally. The floor stretches beneath everything, a plane of support, a base of stability. The floor connects all the furniture, underlies all the objects, provides the common ground on which everything rests. The floor is fundamental, primary, essential. The books line their shelves in rows and stacks. They create patterns with their spines, colors, and heights, and thicknesses arranged by chance and choice. The patterns are pleasing in their irregularity, satisfying in their variety. The books are visual as well as intellectual, decorative as well as informative. The rug defines its territory beneath the furniture. Within its borders, the seating area exists. The rug is a boundary marker, a zone creator, a space definer. Its pattern and color and texture all contribute to this function. The fireplace remains cold and dark. The ashes of past fires have been swept away. The wood of future fires has not been laid. The fireplace exists in a kind of limbo, between fires, waiting without expectation. The stillness is complete. The peace is total. The room exists in perfect rest, perfect quiet, perfect calm. This state is rare and valuable and present right now. In this room, in this night, in this moment, the room rests. The objects rest. The light rests in its steady glow. Everything in this space has achieved a state of rest, a condition of peace, a mode of being that requires nothing, demands nothing, expects nothing. The lamp continues its illumination. The warm light fills the room as it has all evening, consistent and unchanging. The lamp asks nothing in return for its light, needs no acknowledgement, requires no appreciation. It simply shines. The couch cushions hold their shapes in the low light. They are soft and inviting, ready for use, but not requiring it. The cushions exist in potential, in readiness, in a state of being prepared without being demanded. The window reflects the room back to itself. The glass has become a mirror, showing the space to itself, creating a doubling that expands the room visually without expanding it physically. The reflection is a gift of light and angle and darkness. The warmth pervades everything, every surface, every object. Every cubic inch of air holds the same comfortable temperature. This uniformity is restful, is calming, removes all thermal discomfort from the experience of being in the room. The clock continues without pause. Time does not stop, cannot stop, will not stop. The clock records this ongoing movement, displays it, makes it visible. The time is very late or very early. The distinction has lost meaning in the depth of night. The photograph holds its image in the lamplight. The faces or places or things it shows are preserved, frozen, kept safe from the changes that have affected the originals. The photograph is a hedge against forgetting, a defense against loss. The teacup sits on the side table where it has sat all evening. The tea inside is cold, stale, forgotten, but the cup remains, a small ceramic vessel doing its job of holding liquid, regardless of the liquid's temperature or freshness. The floor supports without effort. The weight of the room's contents is distributed across its surface, transferred down through the structure of the house, grounded in the earth below. This support is unconditional, constant, reliable. The books wait on their shelves. They have stories to tell, information to share, worlds to open, but they wait, patient, ready, available. The books do not push, do not demand, do not insist. They simply offer, whenever the offer is accepted. The rug softens the floor beneath the furniture. Its fibers cushion and insulate, create comfort and definition. The rug has been in this room for years, has seen countless evenings like this one, will see countless more. The fireplace opens its dark mouth to the room. No fire burns within it. No warmth comes from it. But the possibility remains. The potential exists. The option is available. The fireplace is patient in its waiting. The stillness has become everything. It is the dominant feature of the room, the defining characteristic, the essential quality. The room is still. Everything in the room is still. The stillness is total and complete. The night continues outside, unseen, unheard, unfelt. The darkness wraps around the house, around the room, around the window that shows only reflection. The night asks nothing, offers only darkness, continues without end until the end comes. The room persists in its quiet state. Hours have passed without change, without event, without anything to disturb the deep peace that has settled over everything. The lamp glows. The couch rests. The rug lies flat. The books stand on their shelves. The clock marks time. The window reflects. Everything continues as it was, as it has been, as it will be, until something changes it. The warmth holds steady. The air is still. The shadows are fixed. The light is constant. All the conditions that make the room what it is continue without variation, without fluctuation, without deviation. The night outside is deep and complete. The darkness is absolute. The world beyond the window has disappeared into blackness, exists only in memory and inference. The room knows only itself, sees only itself, contains only itself. The stillness has reached its maximum depth. No further quieting is possible. The room has achieved perfect rest, perfect calm, perfect peace. This state could continue forever, unchanging, eternal, complete. The lamp burns on. The light falls. The warmth surrounds. quiet holds. Everything exists in balance, in harmony, in equilibrium. The room is at peace. The cushions are soft. The rug is worn. The tea is cold. The books are waiting. The clock is marking. The fireplace is empty. All the elements of the room exist in their places, fulfilling their roles, being what they are. The window shows the room to itself, a mirror in the darkness, a reflection without original visible. The room sees itself and is content. The room knows itself and is at peace. The night will end eventually. Morning will come. Light will change. Movement will resume. But for now, there is only this, only stillness, only peace, only rest. The room continues to hold its contents. The room continues to be warm. The room continues to be lit by the single lamp. The room continues to be quiet. The room continues to be at peace. And the peace continues. And the quiet continues. And the stillness continues. And the warmth continues. And the light continues. Everything continues. The room rests. The night rests. The world rests. The lamp glows softly in the corner, its light unchanged, its warmth unfailing. The shadows it casts have not moved for hours. The corners of the room hold their gentle darkness. The center of the room holds its gentle light. This balance has persisted through the evening, through the night, through all the hours of stillness that have accumulated in this space. The couch remains where it has always been, against the wall, beneath the window, facing the fireplace that holds no fire. The cushions have settled into their compressed shapes, comfortable and worn, ready for sitting that does not come, ready for rest that is already here in another form. The fabric of the couch has achieved the temperature of the room, neither warm nor cool to the touch, simply present, simply part of the environment. The rug spreads across the floor beneath the furniture, its pattern faded but visible in the lamplight, its fibers worn but soft, its purpose fulfilled without effort. The rug defines the space, creates the center, marks the boundary between the seating area and the rest of the room. This definition is quiet, unstated, simply present in the way the room organizes itself around this soft island of textile and color. The books on the shelf have not moved. They cannot move on their own. They stand or lean as they were placed, their spines facing outward, their pages closed, their contents dormant. The shelf holds them with the same patience it has always shown, bearing their weight, keeping them organized, making them available for hands that do not reach for them, eyes that do not scan their titles, minds that do not open their covers. The window glass reflects the room with clarity that increases as the night deepens outside. The darkness beyond the glass is complete now, absolute, without gradation or variation. The reflection in the glass shows the room as if from outside, as if someone were standing in that darkness looking in, seeing the lamp and the couch and the rug and the books and the clock on the mantel and the photograph and the empty fireplace. But there is no one standing outside. There is only darkness, and the reflection is seen only from within. room looking at itself, knowing itself, being itself. The clock on the mantel continues to mark time with movements so small they escape casual notice. The hour is late, deep into the night, far from the evening that started this stillness, and far from the morning that will eventually end it. Time passes in this room as it passes everywhere, steadily, constantly, without acceleration or pause. But in this stillness, time feels different, feels slower, feels less urgent. The clock records the passage. The room does not notice. The tea in the cup on the side table has reached the end of its transformation. Cold, stale, filmed with dried compounds, it sits in its ceramic vessel, a small marker of time's passage, a small reminder of intentions forgotten or deferred. The cup will be dealt with eventually, emptied and washed, returned to its place among other cups. But for now, it simply exists, part of the room's collection of objects, part of the stillness, part of the peace. The fireplace holds its darkness like a secret, the opening leading back into shadow, the chimney rising unseen above, the flue closed against drafts that would disturb the warm equilibrium of the room. Fires have burned here before, will burn here again perhaps, but not tonight, not in this stillness, not in this peace that requires no warmth beyond what already exists. The ceiling stretches above the room, white painted plaster or drywall, reflecting the lamp's light back down, contributing to the ambient illumination, completing the enclosure that makes the room a room. The ceiling is the sky of this interior world, featureless, unblemished, simply present above everything like a perpetual overcast, but warm, but golden, but comforting. The walls surround the room in their neutral tones, beige or gray or something between, absorbing the lamplight and returning it softened, creating the backdrop against which all the furniture exists. The walls do not intrude, do not demand attention, simply provide the boundaries that define the space, that separate inside from outside, that contain the warmth and the quiet and the peace. The air in the room remains still. No draft, no circulation, no movement. The air has settled into perfect stillness, each molecule in its place, the temperature uniform throughout, the silence absolute. This stillness of the air is part of the larger stillness, is perhaps the foundation of it, the medium in which all other stillness exists. The shadows in the corners have become permanent features of the room for the duration of the night. They are not dark, not frightening, simply less illuminated, simply the natural variation that light creates when it fills a space from a single source. The shadows belong here as much as the light. They complete the room, give it depth, make it real. The floor supports everything with silent strength. The hardwood beneath the rug, the foundation beneath the hardwood, the earth beneath the foundation, all working together to hold the room in place, to keep it stable, to prevent it from floating away into the darkness that surrounds it. This support is absolute, unquestioned, taken for granted because it never fails. The night outside the window continues its progress through the hours. The darkness is patient, endless, unchanging, from within though constantly moving through time. The night wraps around the house like a blanket of shadow, surrounds the room like a second set of walls, exists in all directions beyond the glass that shows only reflection. The night asks nothing, demands nothing, simply is, simply continues, simply waits for the dawn that will eventually end it. The room exists in this moment, as it has existed in all the moments of this evening, as it will exist in all the moments until something changes it. The lamp glows, the couch rests, the rug lies, the books wait, the clock marks, the tea sits cold, the fireplace holds emptiness, the window reflects, the ceiling covers, the walls surround, the floor supports. All the elements of the room continue their existence, continue their functions, continue their being. The warmth continues to pervade everything. It touches every surface, fills every space, maintains the comfortable temperature that makes the room livable. That makes it pleasant. That makes it a place where rest is possible, where peace is natural, where stillness is welcome. The quiet continues to fill the room. It presses gently against every surface, occupies every cubic inch of space, saturates the air itself. This quiet is not empty, is not absence, is rich with the presence of calm, dense with the accumulation of minutes without sound. The stillness continues to hold everything in place. Nothing moves, nothing shifts, nothing changes position. The room has achieved a state of perfect rest, has found its equilibrium, has settled into a configuration that could persist indefinitely, that could continue forever if nothing disturbed it. The lamp glows on, patient and steady, asking nothing, offering everything. The light it provides is the life of the room, the energy that makes visibility possible, the warmth that adds to the warmth, the presence that makes all other presence visible. The couch waits in its place, soft and ready, compressed and comfortable, shaped by use into shapes that accommodate use, evolved through years of sitting into a form that invites more sitting, more resting, more being. The rug spreads beneath everything, faded and worn and beautiful in its age, useful in its softness, meaningful in its definition of space, present in every moment without demanding attention or appreciation. The books stand in their rows, filled with words that wait to be read, stories that wait to be told, knowledge that waits to be shared, patient beyond measure, available without limit, ready whenever readiness is required. The clock marks time that no one watches, records passage that no one notices, displays hours that have meaning only to those who read them, continues its function without regard for observation or appreciation. The tea sits cold in its cup, transformed by time from hot beverage to room temperature liquid, from comfort to artifact, from intention to remnant, existing now as evidence of time's passage rather than as the refreshment it was meant to be. The fireplace holds its darkness and its possibility, cold now, but containing the potential for warmth, empty now, but ready for filling, patient as only inanimate things can be patient, waiting as only things without expectation can wait. The window reflects the room into the darkness, creates a double of the space that exists only in light and glass and darkness, shows the room to itself with mirror clarity, completes the enclosure by showing that there is nothing beyond, only the reflection, only the room, only itself. The ceiling covers the room like a sky, white and featureless, and warm with reflected lamplight, defining the upper boundary of the space, completing the enclosure that makes the room a room rather than an open space exposed to whatever lies above. The walls surround everything with quiet solidity, creating the boundaries that define inside and outside, containing the warmth and the quiet and the stillness, providing the backdrop against which all the furniture exists. The floor supports everything with absolute reliability, holding the weight of all the room's contents, transferring that weight down through the structure of the house into the earth below, providing the foundation on which all rest depends. The air fills the room with its stillness, its warmth, its uniform presence, the medium in which all other things exist, the atmosphere that makes the room breathable, livable, peaceful. The shadows occupy the corners and the spaces beneath furniture, not dark, but simply less light, not threatening, but simply present, part of the room's visual texture, part of its depth and reality. The night outside continues its passage through the hours. The darkness is complete. The silence is absolute. The world beyond the window has disappeared into the blackness that surrounds the house. But the room does not notice. The room knows only itself, sees only itself, is only itself, and the room continues. The lamp glows, the warmth holds, the quiet persists, the stillness remains. Everything continues as it is, as it has been, as it will be, until something changes it. But nothing changes it. The room remains. The peace remains. The rest remains. The night deepens, and the room holds its peace. The hours pass, and the room holds its quiet. Time moves forward, and the room holds its stillness. Everything continues. Everything rests. Everything is at peace. The lamp continues its patient illumination as the night grows later, and the world outside grows quieter. The bulb burns steadily, converting electricity to light with the same efficiency it has maintained all evening, producing the warm golden glow that fills the room, that touches every surface, that creates the environment in which rest is possible. The couch cushions have achieved their final compression for the night, settled into shapes that mirror the shapes of bodies that have sat on them, comfortable and welcoming even in their emptiness, ready for use that does not come, but would be welcomed if it did. The rug lies flat beneath the furniture, its fibers pressed in places, upright in others, its pattern visible, but soft in the low light. Its presence felt more than seen, its contribution to the room's comfort undeniable, but unnoticed. The books maintain their vigil on the shelves, spine after spine of accumulated words and stories and ideas, waiting in their patient rows for the attention that will eventually come. That may come tomorrow. That may come never. That does not matter to them, because books do not care, do not mind, do not experience waiting as burden or pleasure. The clock on the mantel has marked many more minutes since the evening began. The hour is very late now, deep in the heart of the night, far from the concerns of day, insulated from the activities of waking life. Time continues its passage, marked by the clock, observed by no one, real nonetheless. The tea in its cup has passed beyond any hope of being drunk, has become artifact rather than beverage, evidence rather than refreshment. The cup holds its cold contents without complaint, performs its function of containing liquid regardless of the liquid's temperature or freshness, waits for the attention that will eventually come. The fireplace remains dark and cold, its opening a rectangle of shadow in the wall, its potential for warmth unrealized, its possibility of flame unexpressed. The hearth is clean, the flue is closed, the mantel is arranged with its small collection of objects. Everything is ready for a fire that does not come. The window glass reflects the room with perfect clarity. As the darkness outside grows more complete, the reflection shows every object, every light source, every shadow, creating a doubled space that exists only in the surface of the glass, a room beyond the room, a depth beyond the depth. The ceiling covers the room above, white and featureless, and warm with reflected light, completing the enclosure that separates inside from outside, that contains the warmth and the quiet, that makes the room a room. The walls surround everything in their neutral tones, providing the boundaries that define the space, absorbing and reflecting the lamplight, existing as the constant backdrop against which everything else is seen. The floor supports everything with the same steady strength it has provided all evening, all year, all the years since the house was built. The wood does not creak, does not shift, does not make itself known. It simply supports, simply holds, simply is. The air in the room remains perfectly still. No draft disturbs it. No movement circulates it. No breath stirs it. The stillness of the air is absolute, complete, fundamental to the larger stillness that has settled over everything. The shadows in the corners have not changed position. They remain where the light places them, where geometry and physics dictate they must be, darker than the rest of the room, but not dark, present, but not intrusive, part of the visual texture that makes the room three-dimensional and real. The night outside the window continues without end. The darkness wraps around the house, surrounds the room, exists in all directions beyond the glass. The night is patient, is endless, is complete. It asks nothing, demands nothing, simply continues until the dawn that is still far away. The room continues in its state of perfect rest. Everything is where it should be, at the temperature it should be, in the condition it should be. The lamp glows, the couch waits, the rug lies flat, the books stand ready, the clock marks time, the tea sits cold, the fireplace holds emptiness, the window reflects, the ceiling covers, The walls surround, the floor supports. Everything is at peace. The stillness holds. The quiet persists. The warmth continues. The night goes on, and the room rests, and the room rests, and the room rests. Peaceful, quiet, still, warm, safe, at rest, at peace. The living room holds its stillness through the deep hours of the night. The lamp continues to glow in the corner, casting its warm light across the walls and furniture, creating the soft shadows that give the space its depth. The light has not changed since the evening began, has not flickered or dimmed or wavered in any way. The lamp is patient, is constant, is reliable beyond any expectation. The couch sits against the wall, its cushions compressed and comfortable, its fabric warm with the ambient temperature of the room. The couch has been in this position for years, will be in this position for years more. It belongs here, is part of the room, cannot be imagined elsewhere without imagining a different room entirely. The rug beneath the furniture spreads its faded pattern across the floor, defining the central space, creating the zone of comfort and use that makes the seating area feel like a place within a place. The rug has served this purpose faithfully, has cushioned footsteps and softened impacts, has contributed its small warmth and its small beauty to the larger warmth and beauty of the room. The books on the shelf wait with infinite patience. They contain worlds within their pages, stories and ideas and knowledge accumulated through the centuries of human writing. They wait for readers who will come, who have come before, who will come again. The books do not mind waiting. Waiting is what books do. The clock on the mantel marks another increment of time, another moment passed in the long journey from evening to morning. The hour is very late. The night is very deep. The darkness outside is very complete. But the room does not care about lateness or darkness. The room knows only its own condition, its own warmth, its own quiet, its own peace. The tea in its cup has become simply part of the room's arrangement, no longer a beverage, but an object, no longer warm but room temperature, no longer fresh but stale. The cup holds its contents faithfully, performs its function regardless of the transformation that time has worked on what it holds. The fireplace remains cold and dark, potential energy stored in the structure, waiting for the fire that does not come, that may never come, that exists only in possibility. The hearth is clean, swept of the ashes of past fires, ready for future fires that may or may not arrive. The window reflects the room with clarity that is almost supernatural, showing every detail, every object, every shadow. The darkness outside is so complete that the glass has become a perfect mirror, showing nothing of the world beyond, only the room itself, only this space, only this warmth, only this peace. The ceiling above is white and featureless, warm with reflected light, complete in its coverage, perfect in its function of enclosing the space from above. The ceiling completes the room, makes it a room rather than an open space, contains the warmth and the quiet have accumulated throughout the evening. The walls surround everything in their neutral tones, providing the background against which everything else exists. The walls do not intrude, do not demand attention, simply provide the boundaries that define inside and outside, that separate this warmth from that cold, that contain this peace within its proper bounds. The floor supports everything with absolute reliability. The weight of the furniture, the weight of the objects, the weight of the air itself, all rest on the floor. All are held by the floor. All are grounded through the floor into the foundation and the earth below. The stillness has become so complete that it seems eternal. Nothing moves, nothing changes, nothing disturbs the perfect rest that has settled over everything. The room has achieved a state of peace so deep that it cannot be deeper, so complete that it cannot be more complete, so perfect that perfection itself seems too weak a word. The night outside continues its patient passage toward dawn. The darkness holds, the silence holds. The world beyond the window remains invisible and abstract, but the room does not think about dawn. The room does not think at all. The room simply is, simply continues, simply rests, and the rest continues, and the peace continues, and the stillness continues, and the warmth continues, and the light continues. Everything continues. Everything rests. Everything is at peace. The room holds its quiet. The night holds its darkness. The lamp holds its light. The warmth holds its presence. Everything holds. Everything continues. Everything rests. At peace. At rest. In stillness. In warmth. In quiet. The room continues through the night, peaceful and still and warm and quiet, holding its contents in gentle suspension, maintaining its conditions without effort, existing without change, resting without end, at peace, at rest, in stillness, in warmth, in quiet. The living room rests. The peace holds, the quiet holds, the stillness holds, everything holds in this room, in this night, in this moment that extends without boundary into all the moments that follow. The lamp glows, the couch waits, the rug lies soft, the books stand patient, the clock marks time, the warmth surrounds. The quiet fills, the stillness pervades, everything continues, everything rests, everything is at peace. The room rests, the night continues, peace remains, stillness, warmth, quiet, rest, peace. The living room holds its peace through the endless night, warm and quiet and still. Resting, always resting, forever at peace.